Well, morning guys, welcome back to Fox Speed Shop. Tim here again, and we are going to be looking today at working on the floor pan of the Fiat 500. A bit of a funky angle to try and actually work from with the camera here, but bear with me, we'll see what we can do. So what I've done is I've revealed the extent of the damage. As we saw last time, I have some replacement panels that will go in here, overlapping the toe board. We'll try and reveal where the spot welds are there after we've cut the entire thing out. Cut the floor out around here, cut the sill on the inside up to about an inch or so down, and then we'll measure up and place the whole thing together. So there might be some cutting, grinding, other things that are a bit difficult to see specifically on camera exactly what I'm doing, but once I've got it done, I'll take you around what we've done and what little repairs we need to do as we're starting to spot weld the floor back into position. So as you can see, what we've done is we've cut along the edge of the central spine there, right up to where the pan that goes underneath there sits, which is actually okay. The strengthening bars here are actually already attached to the bottom of the new panel, and what we'll do is we'll work out exactly where the floor pan overlaps up here, and we'll grind all this back and find any spot welds. Likewise, we'll clean all of this up along here, and if we need to, we'll extend this panel down slightly to meet where the lip goes, and again we'll cut this back because it's all pretty tatty, although actually might well be able to grind back and save the center section here, but it's kind of gone at the back there as well. Certainly the front section is going to need replacing, although to be fair it's not as bad as it first seemed. We'll peel all this stuff off down the bottom here, because again what we want to do is use this as a datum point for making sure we can fix the new one in the right place. Again, similar sort of story at the back here. We've cut up to where there's about an inch overlap or underlap on there, so we'll grind this back, find the spot welds, drill them out, and then we'll pop the new floor pan in, probably hold it in place with Tech screws to get it all test fitted and all into place. But it's come out reasonably nicely. I will also swap the seatbelt mounts from the old pan to the new pan. Okay, so as we got rid of the spot welds here and took off the front of the toe board, you can see that actually the rust is a little more extensive than I had initially expected, or initially hoped for. What we've got is this actual main panel here that the floorboard spot welds to is actually supposed to come down. We use that as a datum point. They're supposed to come down to here. So what I'm going to need to do is slice off this frilly bit here. I'll do this half, do the other half, and the middle when I do the other side. Cut that off, form a simple angled piece to go in here that then follows the line down here, and what we'll do is we'll weld that to here first of all, and to the base of the arch. We'll make all of this bit solid first, and then what we'll do is we'll then start looking at putting the floor in so it's actually got something solid to sit against there. Otherwise, well, for a start, it will fail an MOT because there's a great big bloody hole in it, but secondly, it won't actually be as structural as we'd hoped. So what we've done is we've knocked up a little piece that's slightly oversized here, cut along the line there, hammer form that particular part in, and we'll trim it down to a little bit of shape if needed when it's actually in the car here. Obviously this is all being replaced with the new toe board, and the lower half, or the lower centimetre or so of this is also going to be replaced and extended to give a seam to weld everything onto. So that sits in there where it should. Just remark this and hammer form that area in, and then we'll weld it in place. So we're just going to tack this in place for the moment. Just try and get it to hold in whilst we do some fitment. So I'm not quite sure how welds will come out. Okay, so we've got it tacked in place anyway. It'll hold for a second, and it'll allow us to do some more test fitting before I weld it in correctly. Okay, so after I finished welding that front piece in there, what I didn't show is the 50 million times of taking the floor back in, putting it back out, taking it out, putting it back in, trimming it, fitting it. Cut back the inner sills to give a nice amount of space in here. Obviously cut back all around in here, the rusty area, so that I can put a fill-in piece in there later on. And although I'm not actually ready to weld it in place yet, because I still have a little bit of tweaking to the fitment, what I am going to do is stop it from flopping about and flopping around all over the place by holding it in place with these. Now, if you don't know what these are an absolute godsend to metal fabrication. Okay, this is a tech screw, or a self-tapping screw that has a drill bit on the end of it. It's probably called different things in different countries, but we call them tech screws here. And what it will do is it will run in with the drill, it will drill its own hole, and it will cut a thread in there as well, and it will just allow me to hold this in place, and at the same time it will give datum points for where it needs to be as it comes out and goes back in. You can use Cleco clips for this, and I've got a whole bunch of Cleco clips, but at the minute I've blunted all the drills that are small enough to fit the Cleco pins in, so it's going to have to be tech screws for the moment, and we'll buzz a few of these in. Now obviously this is going to be welded in place, spot welded, but just so I can check all of my my measurements and everything against the other side, I will leave it like this for the moment. Again, we don't have we have an outer sill, but it's absolutely mashed up on the bottom, so it's not fitting fully in there. But we have that lined up, spot welded through here. So spot welds through the panel here where you can't see, spot welds again along the spine down here. Back that with a copper spoon, blast it straight through, and we should be good there. We'll fill that in, and we'll cut the bottom of the outer sill off to enable me to massage the fitment and get it all spot on. But all in all, it's not looking too bad. A little bit of filling work to be done in there, so a few filler panels and stuff like that, but we'll leave it there for the moment, and then we will come back and we'll weld it in. Okay, so we've got it all fitted now. Done a bit more trimming back of some of the inner and the outer sills, so I've actually got it clamped to what remains of the outer sill there. Freed up enough space to actually weld a fill-in piece here and a fill-in piece here, get rid of all of the little bits of rot that were there. Now, in order to, well, I say pinch, well, plug weld rather than spot weld along the edges here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to initially use a little combination joggle punch tool that I've got here. Not going to be using the joggle edge on it because I don't need one, but I will use the punch to actually punch holes along the edge there. I won't bother along the outside of the sill because actually the metal on the Fiat 500s, both the original and the replacement panels, is so thin that you can basically back it with a copper block, turn up the power on the welder and blow straight through it and do a spot weld without having to actually bother doing this. So plug welds are, for those US folk out there watching, are rosette welds, but they're basically the same thing. They're replicating factory spot welds. Now I'll go around and I'll do this before I actually weld it in. I do have a bit of cleaning up to do on the panel at the back here because there's some rubber underlay type stuff that needs to come off so that I can get back to bare metal there. But basically we're all good to get this panel in. Okay. Okay, well, we're going to have to call it a day there because it started raining quite a lot, but as you can see, hopefully, just flip the video, we've actually got a solid floor. Got half the sill tacked in, the other half to build, the arch to build, the inner arch, and the rest of it is there. Whoa. And you can actually stand on it, so that's a good start. We'll neaten it all up next time. So thanks for joining us today. Hope you've enjoyed some of the how to fabricate a floor install in a Fiat 500. Next episode we'll finish it off we'll put the outer sill back on, we'll fabricate the inside of that arch there, and we'll dress all the welds, we'll make it good, seam seal it, and jobs are good. If you like what we're doing, if you like some of the Fiat 500 stuff, if you like this resto project, feel free to like, feel free to subscribe, and chuck me any messages. Till the next time, take care, bye.